everyone. Welcome to the Lawyer Lifter podcast, or Mel's Minutes, where I talk about lifting, life, and business. So, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Lawyer Lifter podcast. And actually, in one of the earlier episodes related to business, lifting, being pregnant, I had talked with my executive assistant, Ariana, about the challenges of getting a birth doula. And today we actually have my birth doula, Karen Fields, here with us. And, I just want to dispel so many myths with her and really answer the question that, so many women are wondering, also men, like, what is a birth doula? Why do I need it? Because whenever I do mention I have a birth doula, the immediate thing is, oh, so you're not going to go to a hospital and deliver? Or what is that? All of a sudden, it becomes so outside the realm of reason and logic and science into the realm of witchery and just midwives' tales and things of that nature. And so, Karen, here we go. I wanted to have you answer, what is a birth doula?
So a birth doula is basically a labor coach. That is somebody that's with you that is not your partner or your husband or something like that. And we're basically there to help you, give you emotional support, physical support, comfort measures, as well as kind of reassurance, information, kind of navigating the hospitals and things like that. So that's the big thing that we would do. Actually, a doula definition is woman servant, and it's a Greek origin. And so it's that's kind of what it is. It's somebody that's by your side during labor, during the pregnancy, giving you information and helping you just focus on where you're at in that journey. Yeah, any step of the way.
And isn't it crazy? Because, I'm a huge proponent as a business lawyer and also business owner of outsourcing and really like finding people with skill sets that I don't have. But one of the things that I find really a disservice to women, especially in the United States, is that you don't know what you don't know, right? And so this concept of birth doula, that's actually not new. And yet it's pretty still very new here in the United States. But elsewhere in other countries, they look at us and are like, yeah, duh, the birth doula, that we have that. We've had that.
It's so true. And I think that that's the thing, is that doula, like I said, the origin, it's just, they've been around for a long, long time. And I think a lot of people think nowadays, especially in America, is that a doula is a midwife. And a midwife, and they say, oh, you're going to help deliver a baby, or you're the midwife, or exactly like what you were saying at the beginning, is that, oh, you're going to be, wearing your Birkenstocks in the bathroom, in the tub, and things like that. And really what it is it's somebody that can support you. And I think even more so nowadays, it's just become more common and more needed, because more and more women are starting to use them, and then they just say how beneficial it is. I think that's the big thing, is that when women are pregnant, it's, if it's their first pregnancy, you've never been pregnant before, you don't, every day is something different, and there's so much information in terms of blogs and Google and social media and everything like that. So the nice thing is that a doula can kind of help you. It's almost like your filter, and we know birth, and so we can help you every step of the way, kind of bring that reassurance to you. I feel that a lot of women are, because again, you've never been in labor and you've never been pregnant for the first time, if you're having a doula, a lot of what a doula does, at least that's how I feel, is that we are reassuring you, we are one step ahead of you, and kind of bringing control to the situation that might be not in your control at the moment. And that's such a big part of what doulas do. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is that I'm speaking to the first time moms and dads out there, is that um, it's not like in the movies, it's not like in TV where, oh my God, evolution takes over and I know exactly what to do to get this baby out. That's like so far from the truth. And I will 500% put like my word against that, because you can only take so many classes, okay? And this, while a woman's body, yes, we evolved and we biologically can do that. You know, my body knows how to create a human. Um, Labor is so intense, and especially for the first time moms and dads, that a lot of them don't know that, hey, that doctor is not with you that entire time. And there are stages of what we call labor. There's like that early labor where you're not even really going to the hospital yet. In fact, if you go to the hospital, they'll probably send your ass back home because you're not ready. And the doctor's there because the doctor comes like probably in the last 10-15 minutes to catch baby and, you know, like do whatever. I'm speaking specifically about, like, you know, if you're going to do vaginal birth. So if you think about it, um, I think I understand that first time moms, that the early to last usually is, you know, like 12 hours or something like that. You're just you or your partner, and you won't know exactly what to do. But your doula has already done this like so many times. And I want to hear your stats after this, Karen. And that's who's there. Not just like the woman's servant, but like your husband or your spouse. I'm sorry, your husband or your partner or whoever. The doula is there for both of you.
It's so true. And that is something that a lot of times when doulas, specifically myself, when we attend birth, it's the partner that at the end is just like, thank goodness you were here, because they don't know what to do either. And I think that women that even sometimes when we're hired by families, when it's not the first time and it's the second time, and families say, my husband is amazing, my partner is amazing, he is so supportive, but he doesn't know what I need in that moment. And that's a lot what doulas do. I always say this is an amazing, amazing team, a doula, your partner, and the mom to be, because doulas know birth and your partner knows you. And it's just such an amazing team. And it's just that feeling of when your doula joins you, especially in labor, at whatever point she joins you, that it's just like, oh, okay, everything is going to be okay, because we kind of, like I said, we kind of put that control into it. We're one step ahead of you. We're informing you that everything that you're experiencing is what you should be experiencing. Everything is okay. And that is a huge part of labor. Labor is very mental. You exactly like you said, it's not like the movies, like, oh, my water broke and now I'm having a baby, 10 minutes later. It's a very mental, it can be a long process. And I think that I've always said, if you have a mom in labor and things are intense and you say you have 1 more hour, every woman could do it. Vaginal delivery, no medication, no interventions, but it's the unknown. This could be 1 more hour. This could be 21 more hours. So I think that that's really what, when you have somebody by your side, kind of with our hands are always on you, we're always just, we're holding you, we're holding this safe space for you, telling you that what you're experiencing is what you should be experiencing. You can do this. And each moment we're taking one moment at a time. And it just makes such a difference in how women labor and things like that. Because being informed, I think, especially as women, we like to be in control. We like to be, we kind of, and not even being in control, but we're kind of the last person that's the priority for people. how's my partner, how's the child, how's my parents, what's happening with like my friends or somebody's coming over. You're always like trying to take care of everybody else. And when you're in labor, that is your time. It is all about you, and everybody is there to focus on you. And like I said, creating this space for you to just be in labor however you want to birth. I wanted to address that. My stats are that I've been a doula about 8 years, and I've probably attended between 400 and 500 births in all those years. And I would say 90% of the births that I attend are in hospital. And even when I tell people that I'm a doula, people the same thing, like, oh, you go to a hospital. And not only that I attend hospital births, but I would say a lot of those women want epidurals. And people say to me the same thing, like, why would you hire a doula if you want an epidural? Because the goal of getting an epidural is at a certain time. There's an ideal time to get an epidural. And that is a time that is, you're in labor and you've been in labor for a while. So it's a hard time to get to that point as well. And to have somebody by your side, even for that, is just invaluable. It really is. And many times we're supporting women that have a plan of, I don't know what I want. I think I want the interventions, but then we're with them and they're just like, no, I'm doing this. And we're just kind of taking it, like I said, one step at a time, and kind of changes the whole outcome of labor.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on that because actually, doulas are backed by science, guys. Like doctors like them, nurses like them. In fact, I got Karen through my own OBGYN group. Dr. Pincus is part of the Newport Beach Women's Center, and Karen was referred. And, I just saw Dr. Pincus this past Friday, and she was like, oh, yes, you're with Karen. And you've got appointments with her, right? And she's got a follow up after delivery. They all work together. But one of the things that I found interesting recently is that with Jonathan, my husband, we attended one of these in-person classes at my OBGYN office, and they were talking about the mentality of birth. Just like, I'm speaking to the athletes out there too. It's like, yes, like your body, you train your body, but that huge component is your mental strength. And there are a couple different theories out there that if you do have a doula, they employ those theories. I think one of them is like hypno babies, and then the other one is like I forget the name, but my husband knows, and it's all about like your mental, like how you put yourself mentally and how you're breathing and what you're thinking. Like you can literally control your response to pain. And that's like amazing. So can you speak to that, Karen?
So a lot of what I think, there's hypnobirthing and there's hypnobabies, and those are kind of the two kind of big thought processes in training. And it's like, you're not hypnotized, but it's more like you're in, like you said, you're in this kind of mindset. You listen to audio recordings about what's happening at each stage of labor. So that is reassuring. And the big thing, I think, that what a doula does, and some people might say, well, if you're doing that, again, why do you need a doula? But we reinforce that. You use different verbiage when you're going to do hypnobirthing. They don't use contraction, they use pressure wave. And so they use surges. We just use different words for things. So I am trained in that as well, and that's really important for a doula as well, to help you get through that type of labor as well. I mean, I'm a little older, and when I was having children, it was very much Lamaze, and it was like the he breathing. And now everybody's like, no, we don't do that breathing at all. So everything, the more research, the more people learn about labor and learn about pregnancy and things like that, there's there's so many things that are being researched and being brought upon that are so helpful, and that's what doulas do as well. Like we are just this wealth of knowledge, and I love that you're saying that it is scientifically backed. It's not just, we're not coming in there with incense and different things. We have all that. We have lots of tools. Essential oils can be so helpful and things like that, but it really is backed by science. When you have a doula, there's so many studies that have shown that their chance of a cesarean is lowered by, I think, even 50%. The time of your labor is lessened when you have a doula. This has all been researched and studied for a long time. So it's invaluable, I think, to have that with you.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, this is also a time which is very strange where the empowered women empowering women kind of gets like turned upside down because a lot of women have been like up in my face, like, oh, you're trying to not do an epidural? Why? And it's like almost like I'm gonna try not to because I feel like I can master my mind and I can try these things, but I'm open to it if it's that way. But I mean, I feel like women, again, I think it's maybe cult like societal or whatever. People think that delivering is just wham bam and that like you just lay there and you pop the baby out and it's like, wow, like, no, actually, like, labor is not like a laying down thing. Like, there's science behind, okay, maybe you want to squat. Why do I want to squat? Well, because you open up your, like, pelt, like you're opening up, you're helping your body. Like, I mean, if you're laying there, I mean, give your body some help. Like, you're not helping your body open and you're trying to push out a human being. So, you want to like squat, you want to move, you want to like, do all these things. It's an active process, but like, how is any woman supposed to know unless you are actively looking for that? And as Karen says, like, that's literally not like witchery. That's literally science. That's anatomy.
Yes, it's anatomy. And a huge thing of what doulas do is position changes and things like that. And I have been with so many women that their labor has stalled, and I come and we do position changes a lot. It's not just the physical comfort. There's just so much more to having that doula with you by your side. And that is something that you were saying before, even with your doctor usually does come in towards the end when the baby is almost ready to make their presence known earthside. But the nurses also are not with you a lot. They are kind of coming in and out and just checking on you. And another big thing is that doulas, we support the mom. And obviously, of course, we are supporting the baby and all the whole, having you birth the baby. That's what we're doing. But when you go into a hospital, or even with, at home or at a birth center, your midwife, your nurse, they are focusing on you as well as baby, and a lot of baby. Obviously, like, we want you to be healthy, but a lot of it is all about when you're getting into that, wherever you're going to be, like at a birth center or the hospital, their focus is baby. And so that's why it's also such an amazing team to have a doula, because we focus on the mom. And that's even true after you have the baby, that when we come to your home and we follow up with postpartum care, a lot of it, again, you're seeing a pediatrician for the baby, and we know so much about baby care as well, but we also are focusing on your recovery. How are you healing? What can we do to continue this healing process? And we talk a lot about that even before you go into labor. We have visits with you, and we talk about what's going to happen when you're bringing baby home. Your care, baby care, sleep, everything for you is what a doula's emphasis is about, rather than baby. In addition to, I shouldn't say rather than, in addition to baby. So that's a huge thing as well.
I think that's important that you do say that. And I want to really say something that's probably like very unsexy, very controversial, where I'm saying, hey, just because a mom puts herself first or you're caring about your well-being doesn't mean you're a shitty mom. Okay? And I don't know why we're still not kind of embracing this modern, but really not modern thing. It's like if the mom is healthy, what the baby is healthy. If you are not good, what makes you think your baby would be good, or your ability to care for your baby would be good? And so I think, like, yeah, a doula is for mom because, again, let me go back to science. Your nurse, your OBGYN will say if you are not relaxed during your labor, or if you're distressed, guess who else is distressed? That would be the baby.
Yeah.
So
yes, yeah, yes, very much so. I think that's a huge component, and I've seen it in just a second. If something, let's say you're in labor and something is changing or different with the baby, women, yes, you see it, like you physically can see the anxiety, the just the worry just kind of creeping in so quickly. And that's a huge part of what we do is we come right by you and we say, this is okay, everything's okay, and we're going to be talking to you. There's always options. That's, I think, a lot of people seek doula care and they say to me right away, you're going to be my advocate, right? Because I've heard from my friends, I've heard from my sister, I've heard from my aunt and my cousins that, you get in there and the nurses tell you this, and they're very, it's not a very equal relationship. It's like you're in there, they're taking charge of your care and things like that. And so you're going to be my advocate, you're going to be my voice. And I always say, I will advocate for you, but I'm not. I mean, I say these are the options. Let's take a moment. If something is going on that you feel is out of your control, or you have too many questions or any questions at all, then my role a lot is, or any doula should be, we always just kind of say, can you give us a minute and can we kind of talk about things? I might tell them, in my experience, this is what is happening, and this is why they're saying this to you, and this is where the decisions need to be made. But you have option A, you have option B. You always have options, and you can always say no to anything, within reason, obviously. And I think that I've told this to so many people that since COVID, when doulas weren't allowed in hospitals for a while, as well as the nurses having to really do a lot. I mean, labor and delivery nurses were on the COVID floors, and then they were up in labor and delivery, and it was really crazy. But it was kind of not that anything too beneficial has come from COVID, but it really has changed the landscape of hospital births since COVID, because those nurses know how much doulas do and how much support when somebody is right by their side. And again, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your sister. It's just that we have so much knowledge and experience with birth. And again, every birth is different. And even if you have multiple children, those births are all different for yourself. But when we are right by your side, those nurses understand that, and when it was taken away, they have such a newfound appreciation for that constant care of somebody by their side. When I walk in with a mom and a couple and we're walking into the hospital, they are so welcoming. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And I go to a lot of hospitals in South Orange County, North Orange County, Long Beach, LA, and it's really a common thread. It's really it's pretty beautiful. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, the changes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna candidly say this. It's like it is so scary. Like I'm scared. I'm 30, I'll be 31 weeks tomorrow. And one of the things that you said to me was, your body is able to do it. Like everybody's body is able to do what it's meant to do. I think you said it so much nicer than me, but here's the thing. Yeah, I think a lot of fear in general comes from the fact that you don't know what to expect, and that it creates fear. And so, because I am such a person who thrives in control, especially because of like my profession and what I do, I have a therapist, and I have a birth doula because that is really freaking scary. And I would want that security because I want someone who is there who knows like what to expect and to help me through that fear. Even though, as you said, and if you could say it for everybody to hear, for those women who are like in this, like, oh my God, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. What do you say to those first time moms?
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, it's just that kind of what I was saying to you, and you did say it well, is that you have to trust your body. Your body knows what to do. Women have been birthing for how long? Since I mean the start of human life. And I think that a lot of times sometimes when I'm with a family, a mom, and I ask, why don't you want an epidural? Why are you seeking kind of this less intervention or less? I always say every birth is natural. I don't like saying natural versus I want a natural birth. I get kind of like you, like vaginal birth, maybe less interventions. But I always ask, why don't you want the medication if it's there? Like your friends say, like, why feel all of that discomfort or the challenge? But I think that most women answer because that reason, because women have been doing this way before epidurals, and they were birthing and they continue to birth, and they will continue, maybe if more things get invented, but there's just that core thing that your body knows what to do. And sometimes when you introduce some of these interventions, it can change the way labor is, what the way labor goes. It can make things different. It can make things, sometimes it slows things down, and then you need a medication called Pitocin, which can affect the baby, and then the baby can have problems with its, it's just, there's kind of this, a lot of information that people don't know about different medications, different interventions that can be part of labor, which for many people it's amazing, and that's what you need. But the root of it is that yes, our bodies have been doing this for a long time. Even when I'm with women in hospitals, especially before COVID, we would walk. You can walk in the hall, and you would hear other women, pretty vocal, and women would be like, instead of being scared of hearing another woman, very vocal, they're just like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. It's so empowering that's going to be me soon, and things like that. So it's just so incredible. It's just, I am in awe of all these moms that can just kind of do this and have this mindset. And that's another thing, like that you make our job so easy, because we're literally just kind of being with you by your side, kind of the whole process, the whole way through, and just, yeah, being your support.
So I think that wraps it up for this episode. Karen, thank you so much. And I just want to like leave, how do women contact you, and what is your last word of advice to newly pregnant women?
Well, I would say that if you can really seek out a doula care, doula support, we are not your partner. So I think that's a huge thing that kind of dispels a lot of people will say, well, my husband's my labor coach, but it's we keep a different space for them, and we're their doula as well, and we're the nurses doula. We're just there to help and support everybody. So I just think that it's really important to seek out that care, ask questions. It's a very intimate situation, and you have to have that nice connection. So just ask as many questions as you can, and make sure that you have a good care provider and things like that. And I have a website that's called a Special Delivery Doula Services, and that's probably the best way to reach out to me, and go from there.
Thank you so much, Karen.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much.
And that wraps up the Lawyer Lifter podcast, aka Mel's Minutes. Catch this episode on Apple or Spotify. See you next time.